Hi everyone, Al the Psych here. I'm doing a follow-up video part 2 of the Adonis Complex, and I'll finish that up in just a few minutes, okay? And again, this is for informational purposes only. So let's get right back to it. I've taken information directly from the book. Sometimes I've paraphrased, sometimes I've added my own 2 cents, okay? Excuse me. Okay, so usually people think that women are more likely to be dissatisfied with their bodies. However, it now appears that men are just as likely to be dissatisfied with their bodies. There was this thing that it was, a women's issue, and it's not just a women's issue, as we've found out. Now, if you're dissatisfied with your body, you increase the likelihood of having lower self-esteem and feeling depressed when compared with body satisfied individuals. Now, this is kind of interesting. I found this in the book. You may have heard about the study showing how Barbie dolls have gotten skinnier over the decades. Well, G.I. Joe dolls did a morphing of their own where they gained much more bulk and size over the years. And if you look at the Star Wars action figures, they followed the same trend. They went from what would be considered more of an, I guess, an average body to a more muscular, bulked up sort of body. And the same morphing also took place in both Playboy women and Playgirl men. You know, go ahead and investigate for yourselves. Okay. Now, the authors all present the possibility that men with the Adonis complex may feel this is their last way of distinguishing themselves from women, with the idea that women can now compete with men in almost all areas, military, politics, company CEOs, etc. So they've put this out there. Interesting idea. Now, there's actually a questionnaire in the book to help you determine if you meet criteria for the Adonis complex. So if you wanted to look at the book and see if you meet that criteria, that's available for you. They use a word called bigorexia. So it's a word that is used in the book for individuals that are big, lean, muscular, and never quite feel big enough and tend to compare themselves with others to see, who's bigger. The authors go on to use the term muscle dysmorphia, and that's been used by others, along with a long list of clues. They actually have a list, I think, of 15 clues. I mentioned a couple here. Do you often worry that your body isn't sufficiently lean and muscular, and has your need to work out interfered with your job? That's a couple of the clues. You want to get more information, get to the book, and there's actually 15. Now, earlier I mentioned in part 1, I think it was, that steroid use is common with individuals that want to get bigger. But it does come at a price. There's increased risks for heart disease, stroke, high blood pressure, an increase in bad cholesterol, liver issues, and more. And unfortunately, you may not experience problems for a while, kind of like smoking, where the significant symptoms may show up, much, much later. Although sometimes side effects can show up early, like maybe, acne or roid rage, irritability, things like that. But you know how it works for many people. I assume you do. Like, if you get quick gains, if you've been like that scrawny kid or teenager or young man, and all of a sudden, man, you're packing on muscle, it's real easy to just, notice those gains and ignore any minor side effects. Okay. And oh, I wanted to mention this too. Some men, when they're coming off steroids, because you cycle through steroids, can get very depressed. Now, they talk about treatment for the Adonis Complex, and they mention that cognitive behavior therapy seems to help. And then they mention a few points that you might want to think about. So number one, don't buy into the media images. I mean, it's so easy to get sucked into that, just buying into what's presented to you. Number two, remember that many of the hypermuscular male bodies are the product of drugs. They've been enhanced. Okay. Three, remember that a vast industry benefits from making you feel insecure about your body. That in itself just kind of bugs me. That would bug me enough, I think, to make sure I felt good about my body and didn't get sucked into helping pay for the insecurity they try to make you feel. Number four, masculinity isn't defined by the way you look. Okay, something to really think about. And number five, I love this. It's okay to look okay. All right. One last note. Now, the authors make a point of indicating that they encourage working out and being fit, just not to the point where it can cause all this distress. Okay, and that is it for part 2. Thanks.